So first of all, thank you very much, Anastasiia, for your time and for your availability. I had the opportunity to know you some time ago, quite recently, actually, during a meeting organized by Eurordis in Paris from November 7 to 9. Well, I was very impressed about the speech you made during that meeting, and that's why we are here again. So thanks again for accepting this conversation. Could you please tell us shortly who you are, where you're coming from, where you live?
Sure. So thank you so much for inviting. First of all, it's great to see your interest in what we do at Eurordis and exactly for Ukraine response in particular. My name is Anastasiia Saliuk. I'm myself a Ukrainian. I live with a rare disease, and at Eurordis, I took over the position of a senior project manager for Ukraine response. This is not something that Eurordis typically does. I mean, emergency response programs, but since the beginning of the invasion in Ukraine, Eurordis decided that it was an important task to get involved in, and that's why they were looking for someone to coordinate the response program, and that is how I joined the team. I'm now based in Paris, and before I used to live in Ukraine, in Moldova, and Poland, travel a little bit across the region.
So you're a very international person. And what's the added value that Eurordis can give in this context?
I think in this context, it is a lot about, well, first connecting different organizations, because we have patient organizations on the ground in Ukraine, then we have a lot of patient organizations specialized in different diseases. In Europe, there is a big landscape of aid organizations, of EU institutions, governmental officials, all of whom do something to help Ukrainian refugees or Ukrainians who suffer from the humanitarian consequences of the war still in Ukraine. And we try to connect these dots a little bit and create synergies where there has been nothing before. At the same time, I think one of the most important tasks for us is to, as usual, amplify the voices of patients and make the European and the Ukrainian community understand a little bit better what is it, a rare disease, who are people living with a rare disease, and what are their needs, because something that might be quite obvious to us when we deal with this is a totally new topic for many people, even when sometimes we speak to humanitarian aid agencies who work in the sector of healthcare. They might not be aware of rare diseases, and we take this opportunity to raise awareness and speak more concretely about the needs of people in the context of war.
So we are talking about rare diseases.
Absolutely.
What does it mean for a young person like you to live the condition of disability due to a rare disease as you are affected?
It's a difficult question, and I guess my first response would be to say that I'm still not fully accepting this, because there is a lot of difficulty around accepting even the word disability and claiming it to yourself, or knowing that you have limitations. And although my own limitations are luckily not that severe as it might be in more advanced stages of my disease for different people or in different diseases, it still affects my life every day. And I'm actually very happy that since I've joined Eurordis, this topic became much more present in my life, and I feel much more open about it, and I can speak much freer about it than before.
I fully understand. Well, last week I had the opportunity to see again in a very crowded theater near Milan, Simona Azzori. Simona is a friend of mine, and she's a dancer, she's a painter, and she wrote some books explaining her experience in terms of a disabled person. She's a person born without the upper limbs. And she often says that quite often the limits are only in the eyes of the beholder. What do you think about that?
I totally agree with that. And I can only add to that sometimes the limits are in our own heads. And sometimes when we think wider and we try to, overcome them, we actually realize that we can do much more than we could expect from ourselves. And having heard the description that you gave of Simona, I can tell that I can only admire people who actually indeed overcome these limits that they've been imposed with. And, it's not really common. Like, I have two hands, but I cannot draw or play musical instruments, etc. And then to see a person who have more limitations in this sense and who actually manages to do this, it's a big inspiration for all of us, I guess, to just do more.
Thank you. As I said at the very beginning, talking about Ukraine, I was very impressed about I don't know if I can say it quite clearly, about the brochure that you distributed during the meeting in Paris. How did the idea come out to prepare such a thing? Because I saw it's quite documented. It gives a very good idea about what's happening.
It comes from this idea that I've mentioned already about how much complex and specific the needs of people living with rare disease are. And we issued so far 4 reports, and now the 5th is coming. Now these were country reports, so we documented the situation in Poland, in Romania, in Moldova, and now the report that you were showing is about Ukraine. We try to give guidance to all the actors involved about what are the challenges that people living with a rare disease in Ukraine or from Ukraine face in the context of war, and what could be a response to them. What are the needs? What are the needs that are met, and what are the needs that still require more action? And then we try to advocate based on this information to find solution internally in Ukraine, but also internationally and at the European level.
Yeah, and in this respect, ever since March 2022, as you said at the very beginning of our conversation, among others, also Italy, among other countries, also Italy, in Italy there are some communities of Ukrainians living the difficult situation, condition, far away from home, with all the negative aspects that this can create. What is the message that you feel to give to these people so away from home and apparently with no hope, at least at the moment, to come back soon to their country?
Can I say in Ukrainian a couple of words?
Thank you. Yeah, that would be appreciated. Yeah.
Thank you. Мене насправді надихає дуже проста річ. Я думаю, що багато з вас, коли ви подорожували літаком, ви могли чути, що у випадку дегерметизації салона потрібно надягнути кисневу маску спочатку на себе, а потім там на дитину чи людину, з якою ви подорожуєте. І мені здається, що ця проста порада, вона зараз дуже сильно може бути застосована до усіх сфер нашого життя. Нам потрібно допомагати собі в першу чергу, і тоді це нам дасть можливість допомагати людям навколо нас. Тому ми вже розуміємо, що ця ситуація – це марафон, і потрібно триматися, і потрібно власні ресурси в першу чергу зберігати і накопичувати, аби ми далі могли примножувати хорошу роботу навкруги нас. Ну і все буде добре, все буде Україна.
Just let me say a couple of words in Ukrainian. I don't speak the language, but I try to really thank you very much with these few words. Grazie, Anastasiia. Mene було приємно зустрітися з вами.
Мені також було дуже приємно. Дякую.
Let me stop there. Anastasiia, it was a pleasure to meet you. On behalf of Disney community, let me say again, thank you very, very much for all what you said, to be witness of this condition and to operate for such an important organization as Eurordis is. And I hope to meet you somewhere soon. I know that next year there will be a meeting, a very important meeting in Stockholm. Hope that we can meet there probably again. And it was really a pleasure to meet you in Paris, and hope that we can keep in touch with all the new things that you can organize. Don't hesitate to keep us informed about all the good things that you are doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this conversation, and we are there for everybody who needs our support. So please do not hesitate to get in touch in case you come across people who need our support. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Bye. See you
Bye.
soon. Ciao.